What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry Sistas. This is season 6, episode 20, and the episode is titled The Last Laugh. You guys, I already know y'all probably gonna be like, girl, what is going on with your voice? Ever since I was under the weather like a couple weeks ago, my voice had never came back. So it has been very up and down. Hopefully y'all still rock with this video. Let's go ahead and jump right into this review. Alright, so I thought that the episode was going to start with Fatima and Zach going to see what's going on with Michael, but no. We started with Preston and Danny. Danny comes home and Preston is still up. He watching TV or whatever, and Danny's like, "Oh, I thought you would have been asleep." And his response was, "You thought that, or that's what you wanted?" Baby, Preston is not about to play with Danny. He is sick of her, and you can tell it's about to go down. So we start the conversation off with a little small talk. However, Preston wants to have a conversation about what went down earlier when Danny and Tony, the tiger, was playing in his face. But of course, Danny's like, "Oh, I'm too tired. I'm going to go to bed. We can talk about this tomorrow." Baby girl has been trying to avoid Preston since she been hanging out with Tony. And it don't even make no damn sense. Now, y'all, this is what's crazy to me when it comes to this situation. You have Danny over here talking about well, I was with the girls. This is what we do. Blase, blase, blah, right? But I have to be with Preston on this. You knew that I was waiting on you to come home so that way we can have this conversation. So you got me sitting in this house waiting on you all day just so I can talk to you? That's crazy. And keep in mind, Danny does this all the time. To where she will have Preston in her house waiting for hours just for her to come home. Like, be for real, Danny. Why are you treating him like a puppy? Like your pet dog waits for you to come home like this. Not your man. So we get to the point where they basically agree that they're going to have a conversation in the morning because it's always what Danny says goes, and she would rather have a conversation in the morning. Here's my thing. If I was Preston, I would have left her house that night. I'm sorry, but what are we doing? What are we doing? I literally saw you with another man. You don't want to have this conversation at work. Okay, fine. That's your job. You come home hella late and you still don't want to have this conversation? That's a problem for me. Then on top of that, you got Danny talking about how, "Oh, tonight was so crazy. So much stuff went down." Girl, you're not even realizing that things are about to go down in your own household. You're so busy worried about what Andy got going on, what all the other ladies have going on, especially whatever Tony has going on, that you're about to lose Preston. Now, keep in mind, you guys, we have all had our up and down relationship when it comes to Preston. And that is because once we brought in that ex-girlfriend or whatever, he could have went off the show then. However, y'all decided to keep this man on the show, then make him Danny's boyfriend just for her to start sneaking and creeping around with Tony. It makes absolutely no sense, but I digress. Let's move on. Now, y'all, we done got to Fatima and Zach, and they are meeting up with that nosy neighbor. Why do it look like they in like the back alley or something? Why does it look like they're in the back of the apartment building? I'm trying to understand, where did all this brick come from? Baby girl still don't know nothing. But next thing you know, they decide to run up to the apartment building. Alright, so they go up there and the door is busted wide open. We see that Heather is getting her arm wrapped up by the EMT because according to her, she hurt herself on some broken glass or something like that. Now we got some random man smoking in the corner. I'm just like, girl, could you stick with one partner? Like, Tyler is really pouring it on thick that Heather really do be having all these men in and out this house. So Fatima trying to have a woman-to-woman conversation with this girl, She don't want to talk to Fatima. She don't want to talk to Zach. She wants them to get out of her business and get out of her house. Okay? Now, one thing that threw me off was when Zach was yelling through the house talking about some, Michael, are you okay? Not trying to be funny, but it's not like Michael was going to answer you. Because the little boy don't even talk. So what the hell you yelling at for? Nonetheless, the thing that throws me off is here come the police now. After the fact, they try to get to the bottom of what went down here because clearly it sounds like a neighbor called that there was a domestic dispute going on between Heather and that man who was over there smoking. Now, the funny thing to me, y'all, also, is that the main police officer who's asking all these questions is the same one who was just at Zach's house when Heather pulled up on him. So now we gotta deal with these two yet again. However, he tells them, you know what, as far as Zach and Fatima go, they need to leave. Now, here's my thing. Heather keeps saying that Michael is alright. Zach keeps questioning, if his son is okay. My thing is, where is Michael? Somebody go get Michael. I need the police to put eyes on Michael to make sure he is okay. Because we can't just be believing any old thing that Heather is yelling out. Because we all know she lying about how she cut herself on the table. So, Zach and Fatima go outside. The nosy neighbor, she outside talking about what's going on up in there. Girl, you so nosy, but you do a piss poor job at being nosy. Because let's circle back to the fact that when the police came in, she was standing in the doorway trying to be nosy, but Heather basically told her to skedaddle because this had nothing to do with her. So now, here come nosy neighbor talking about some, cause I'm about to put hands on her, referring to Heather, and Zach is like, well, I'm willing to pay you to do that or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I'll put hands on her for a pack of cigarettes right about now. Ma'am, how low budget are you? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and move on because Zach and Fatima ended up going home and now it is the next day. So we start this scene off with Karen. She's getting ready for the day and she gets a phone call. Who is it from? It's Brian. He talking about him and his team ready to start work. I said, wait a second. Can a couple of days go by? But I forgot. In Tyler Perry land, everything happens instantly. So nonetheless, he ready to start work. He wants her to stop by the salon. And on top of that, he talking about he told his wife that Karen is expecting, and now he want to drop off all these baby clothes and baby gadgets. Now, what threw me off, y'all, is that Karen, she's like, oh yeah, I do want that stuff. Girl, why? Why is your baby getting hand-me-downs when you just bought all this new stuff for little Michael? Please make it make sense, y'all. Unless she went to the Goodwill and got little Michael some stuff, I'm not understanding what's going on here. All right, now, y'all, this right here is where the episode gets even stranger for me. You have Karen making a call to Fatima. Now, why is she calling her? Because baby Fatima was confused. First of all, who is this calling my line? Secondly, Karen, what do you want? Okay? Karen is like, well, I hired a contractor and he's about to give me a bunch of baby stuff. And I was just wondering, if Zach may want some for his son, blah, 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 blah. Y'all, you would have thought that these people were piss poor. And what I mean by that, why in the world is Karen now trying to get Zach involved on getting these free baby clothes or whatever, or kids' clothes or whatever the man got, as if Zach don't have money? Y'all are not poor. I'm not understanding why we try to pass around baby clothes. Let's do better, please. I understand that we're trying to make some type of ties between Karen and his contractor, but this whole baby clothes situation is ridiculous. Yes, she cannot afford to fix her shop completely because that's very expensive. However, these hand-me-down clothes from a man that you don't know is weird, okay? And then for you to try to get Zach in on it is even weirder. It doesn't make sense. But let's go ahead and move on. Y'all, Preston is getting ready or whatever for the day. Where is he going? I don't know, because Preston don't seem to have a job. Secondly, Daniela is in bed. She's knocked out. However, he wakes her up telling her, like, listen, girl, you got to get up to get ready for work. Danny, you just said on the top of this episode that you were going to take a shower and you were going to go to bed. Baby, why do you have on a face full of last night's makeup? Sis, what's going on here? So we already know Preston is ready to have this conversation with Danny, because he already know if she go to work, then by the time she eventually come home, she ain't gonna want to have this conversation. So this man done made sure she was up 2 hours earlier just so that they can talk. And at first, she didn't even want to sit up in the bed. Like, Danny, come on now, girl. You should have known that this was coming. Stop trying to avoid it. So, of course, Preston is like, what is going on with you and this guy? Of course, he asked if Danny is sleeping with Tony, because let's be for real, at this point, Danny sleeps with everybody pretty quickly, okay? Hell, she even slept with Preston very quickly. And, of course, she sort of kind of takes offense to it, but what Danny likes to do is flip the script on you and try to make it seem like, oh, you're trying to say that about me? Well, let me one-up you about yourself. That's what Danny likes to do, and I cannot stand it. She does that, and then she also likes to do the thing where it's not exactly her playing the victim, but it's like, oh, you're going to call me a hoe? Well, I'm going to be that hoe. And list all her hoish ways, even if it's all sarcasm. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that's called, but Danny does it and it irritates my spirit. Now, y'all, let me tell you something. Preston, he was on one, okay? And I mean it in a good way. Because he definitely was on the money when he was like, you know what, Danny? If old boy didn't turn out to be the way he was towards you, would I even be here right now? And the answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. She would absolutely still be kicking you out on the other side of her door. She will be telling you she don't want to be with you. Go be with your ex-girlfriend. Go be with Mindy. I don't want you. That's exactly what she would have been doing. So the fact that she took you back, basically because it was a comfort for her, because she had already known you. Also, there's a sense of protection because Preston's at home, Preston's there, and this guy ever came back, you know what I'm saying? Preston will protect me. But on top of that, Danny is still avoiding seeking some help, some counseling, some therapy, something, instead of trying to find it in a man. That's her problem. She needs to go really get some help out here instead of chasing down these men hoping that you gonna find love in a hopeless place. Cause baby, it ain't working. Now, her rebuttal and all of this, because he was like, listen, tell me the truth, like what's going on. She had the audacity to say, watch your tone. Watch your tone? Y'all, I'm not even about to like front on you. I feel like as of lately, I've been hearing more and more women. They have been telling men to watch their tone. You know, you can't talk to me any kind of way. This, that, another. Don't raise your voice. Once a man raises his voice at you, blase, blase, blah. Right? We've heard all this. Here's my thing. Him asking you solid questions is not him switching his tone up. Now, did his voice raise an octave? For sure, because you're playing in his face, Danny. Every time he asks you a question, you giving him a BS answer. So he's getting frustrated having a conversation with you. So honestly, if Preston was yelling to the top of his lungs right now, I would not even be mad. Because he's literally trying to just get some damn answers, and you refuse to give him the answers that he needs to hear. So for you to sit up here and bring up his tone, that irritated me. Because honestly, his level was still very normal in comparison to what it could be. Like, you can totally see how frustrated Preston is in this scene. And then for her response to just be, okay, Preston. All right, Preston. Baby, I would have walked out that door so fast. Let me just pack up my bag for whatever I have left over here, and we are done. And that's pretty much what happens, because he's like, listen, you can go be with old boy from the airport. Hopefully he can protect you in case that crazy guy come back. But I'm done with this situation because clearly there's no connection anymore. So again, he's irritated with her because her response is only, okay, Preston. All right, Preston. Or whatever. She's not giving him anything in this conversation. And then has the audacity to say that he's insulting her. No, he's calling you out on your BS and you're not ready to stand in it. Okay? That's the problem, Daniela. So it gets to the point where Preston is saying a speech about how, he will always have love for Danny, even though he knows that she will never love him that same way. And she takes offense to him saying that. And I'm just like, but it's the truth. Like, you're the one who held up the idea of y'all even officially dating. You were the one who never wanted to learn anything about him and his culture. You're the same one who had your list of things that, Preston will never understand and you never tried. So I can't even be mad at this man when you really did not want this relationship. So now she's upset because he's told her F you or something like that. And again, I don't blame him because she's literally playing in his face. Now, y'all, again, remember I said that Danny likes to flip situations? That's exactly what she's doing right now. Because she had the audacity to tell Preston that every time things get rough, basically, he decides to run. I said, decide to run. In this situation, he's trying to have some clarifying conversation with you, and you're not even giving him the answers, okay? Because at the end of the day, he should have ran from you a while ago when you decided you was going to sleep around with whoever you was sleeping around with, okay? Because why should he stick around? And her response is, oh, well, I'm not sleeping around with anybody. Okay, you may not be sleeping around with Tony. However, you are definitely still in some type of emotional tie with Tony. Okay? Y'all laughing with each other. Y'all giggling with each other. Y'all on triple dates with your best friends. Girl, be so for real right now. Like, I have to agree with Preston on this one. Danny, you definitely dated him because he was convenient. The man was cooking you steak dinners, okay? For some reason, it seemed like you ain't never had no food in your house. He always was buying you groceries. You know what I'm saying? He's a protector, like I said. He don't even try to judge you on all the shenanigans that you've done in the past, because there's definitely been some things that were questionable, Danny. There's a list of things that can be said, but you're sitting up here, getting upset with him when you haven't even really tried to be in a relationship with him. You're the same one who was like, bluegrass, I can't listen to it. You never tried to listen to his type of music, really get to know him. Like, he was just for convenience. So at this point, Preston is fed up, okay? And he is leaving Daniela. He is walking out the door, baby. Because once he walk out that door, it don't look like he coming back no more. Okay? So y'all, this might be the last of us seeing Preston. Because y'all know there's supposed to be a shakeup for the next season. And some of the cast members won't be coming back. So Preston may be one of the people to go. We shall see. Moving on, we see Andy. She gets a phone call. She's going to send somebody up to her place. Then she gets another phone call. And this time it's from Jordan or whatever. He kind of just checking on her to see how she is. Especially after what happened the previous night with Gary. So come to find out, his sister wants to have a conversation with Andy. Andy's like, I don't really know if I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bad enough that the whole situation blew up last night. And it's funny to me, though, how Jordan was on the phone and he's like, man, I can't believe that slimy dude, right? Talking about Gary. And Andy's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Basically saying that she's not about to dog out Gary over the phone with this man. But I'm just like, girl, Gary completely embarrassed you in front of a room full of people that you don't even know like that you trying to get to know. So I'm not even understanding why you trying to spare Gary right now. It don't make no sense. Or is it that you still have all of these feelings for Gary, Andy? Because that's what it's given. Nonetheless, she jumped off the phone with him because Karen shows up. And Karen has to be the one to tell her, like, girl, you cannot hold it against Jordan what went down last night. Because at the end of the day, he didn't know Gary was like that, okay? He was just trying to get this man who was possibly going to be his brother-in-law. So Andy and Karen, they have this conversation where Andy is just feeling like, she got played by Gary. She didn't see the signs. Like, how was he able to pull this off for so long? And Karen is like, girl, that's because the devil knows how to cover his tracks, okay? Now, Andy, she questions, if she was blind the whole time. But Karen's response was like, no, you were in love. No. Andy absolutely pretended to be blind a lot of the times. And also, she found things out about Gary and still continued to be with him. Like, I honestly don't even know if it was love that Andrea was going through, or was it the fact that Gary was a rich man. He was powerful, clearly, because the man know everybody in Atlanta. And this man has money, okay? He is a baller. He has technically upgraded Andrea's life in ways that she couldn't. And what I mean by that is her accepting that Rolls Royce, the penthouse, all of that. Yeah, that's all Gary's money. And even though she's a lawyer, we know she got her big settlement and all that stuff from the law office, it still couldn't help her afford how she living now. Because let's not forget, Andrea is bougie. Andy's one of the bougiest characters that we have seen lately on TV. But nonetheless, back to the story at hand, baby girl's still pissed off at Gary or whatever. And Andy, she says that she doesn't want to talk to Gary. She has his number blocked, all of this stuff. So I'm just like, is Gary going, y'all? Do y'all think that Gary will be going for next season, or y'all think he coming back? Let me know in the comments. Andy, she actually ends up giving Karen a check, because that's the whole reason why Karen even showed up. Karen showed up so that way she could get her little check from Andy, because she's going to be the one who's paying to fix the shop, right? Karen, of course, she promises that she's going to pay her homegirl back. I'm like, all right, cool. Moving on, y'all. Now we get back to Danny's house, and Sabrina comes over. What was that outfit? Sabrina, you just went from having a nice little outfit on when you went out the night before. But what is this? I promise her outfits be so distracting to me. But nonetheless, we gotta hear Danny sit up here and lie, okay? Because Danny talking about some, Preston, he left per usual, and talking about how he called her a whore. I said, no way he said that. He distinctively said, I did not call you that. You assume that he called you that because he mentioned what you do. Like, girl, get your life together. And then on top of that, we got Sabrina over here feeling bad for Danny. Like, why would he call you that? Oh my God. And I'm just like, girl, the same way that y'all all tried to have an intervention for Danny. What are we talking about right now? Now, Sabrina, she does tell Danny that, the reason why she is even dressed like that in that tacky outfit is because she trying to go get her job back at the bank, right? Because she got a meeting with, the manager or head person. Good for her, I guess. We gonna see Sabrina next year, or should I say next season, working at the bank again. Like, I really wanted this situation with Sabrina and Maurice in the bank to be a pivot moment for them. I wanted Maurice to pivot into something else. Like, I really wanted him to go, like, full on doing drag, making his money, doing that, like, finding something else to do. I feel like Sabrina, because she worked at a bank and she was a manager, she could totally do, like, some type of financial something, some other type of position. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, y'all know how Gary supposedly works in, like, finances. I can't remember what his job title is right now. But could you imagine if they, like, hired Sabrina at the same place and she getting a tea on what Gary really be doing? I'm just saying, if we gonna really make the show interesting, let's make it pop. If we gonna keep Gary around for real. But I digress. Now, before they walk out that house, y'all, why in the world was Sabrina hyping Danny up about how, well, girl, you still have Tony. He's interested in you. You could call him, blah, 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 blah. Y'all, I was so annoyed because I'm like, you sat on that same couch with Danny when she told all y'all heifers that she was with Preston. But you gonna sit up here, you know what she's been through with Preston. And even though, like I said before, Preston is not my favorite character. I hated the whole ultimatum. He brought in his ex-girlfriend. I hated all of that. However, if she gonna forgive that man and try to move forward in a relationship with him, I'm not understanding how her and her homegirls are just like, well, you still got this other guy on the side. Excuse me? Why is not a one friend saying, Danny, you don't need to be going out with Tony. Like, girl, you got Preston at home. We don't need to be doing this whole triple date thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not understanding why not a one of her homegirls is saying that. That's a problem for me. Because I seriously hate this middle school concept of all three ladies dating these three guys. But you know what? We're just going to move on from there, y'all. Oh, I forgot to mention. Danny had a little crying breakdown at the door when she opened it because she realized that Preston wasn't coming back. But, girl, that's what you get. Moving on. Y'all, we get to Zach and Fatima, right? So, it's the top of the morning or whatever, and Fatima is telling Zach how she spoke to the lawyer and he's meeting with the judge, right? Zach, he's still talking about he can't eat, he can't sleep anymore, waiting for Michael to come through the door. I'm tired. I'm so tired of Zach and Fatima. Or should I say, not even Fatima. I'm really tired of Zach and his I can't eat because of my son. I can't drink because of my son. I can't sleep because of my son. Sir, get you a hobby. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. I'm sorry, but this has now taken over Zach's entire personality, and I hate it. I really do hate it. I need for Zach to find something to do. This storyline ain't it for me. But nonetheless, moving on. Oh, almost forgot. Fatima ends up telling Zach about these damn hand-me-downs. And I'm just like, Zach, why are you acting like you want them? What is happening? Why do these people want these damn hand-me-downs? Zach has money. He can afford to buy his child new clothes. Why would he take hand-me-downs from some stranger? That's weird. But you know what? I'm going to move on. I really am. So y'all, here we go again. Danny and Tony. They're at work in the parking lot pimping. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about, what happened last night and how Penelope, oh my gosh, she's going through it. But, she's with Jordan, so she's good. I'm sorry, but I really hate the way those guys big each other up. Because the next line after he said that she's with Jordan, so she's good, his line was, because, he's solid. Like, I'm sorry, what? Why would you say that he's solid when that's her brother? Like, I would assume that, she with her brother, she good. But it's like, these three men, they have to big each other up every second, especially if they're talking to a woman. It is so weird. Nonetheless, we learned Danny doesn't have any siblings. Tony, he's the only child on his mama's side, but I guess his daddy got some other kids or something along the lines of that. And we also learned that Tony, y'all, is the vice president of Maintain Airlines, okay? He's a whole vice president with that raper van. So even Danny calls him out about this van, right? And he has the audacity to say, well, I got two other cars, but, this was my dad's van. And when he died, he gave it to me or whatever, and it just brings me closer to him and blah, blah, blah. Sir, you mean to tell me that your daddy had a clean, all black, blacked out window raper van? What kind of life was he living? Why did your dad have this van? Because the thing is, it's not like this van is an old van, y'all. It's pretty clean. So I'm like, okay, maybe your daddy died recently. I'm going to assume. I don't know. But at the end of the day, sir, if you have 2 other cars, you can drive those other cars to work. I promise you, it'll be okay. It will be okay to drive your other cars to work. Nonetheless, we gonna move right on along. So y'all, we see Jason Weaver, aka Brian. Now he is waiting on Karen to pull up to the shop. So she gets there and he decides to show her a rendering of what the new layout could be for the salon, right? Now I think it was weird when he said, oh yeah, one of my students made this. Because, he also coaches football. And I'm like, well, how old is this student to make a whole damn rendering? How old are these kids? So then out of nowhere, he decides to give her this big old trash bag of clothes, right? Talking about oh yeah, my wife put all this stuff in here. I don't think his wife did it. I think he did it. Nonetheless, he over here telling her how, she's entering the best stage of her life. And he over here trying to hype up parenthood. Nigga, please. This is the same way why you work all day long so that you ain't got to see them damn kids. Nonetheless, this man goes back to showing her this layout for, what the salon could look like. Then tells her that, oh no, see, because this is actually for something else. Sir, not you trying to pull a fast one, because after she had already got the money for what you originally quoted her for, now you trying to pull a fast one and say, oh no, but we can upgrade it to something else because, I know that you're leasing and I know your landlord, blah, blah. Whoa, 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 Jason Weaver. You know way too much. Y'all, I need for Tyler to stop writing these men who know too much about these women. Like, I just cannot, with this man knowing how much he paying rent, and the landlord, he done chit-chatted with him that much to give him all of Kira's information. That's weird. So now he talking about this is a building that I built, but the owner, he ran into some financial trouble. But, you should come look at this building because it's going to cost about the same amount of money of what you paying right now. Blah, 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 right? Now, this man basically have her get in the car with him. And I'm like, Karen, why are you getting in the car with him? You trusted him way too fast. You don't know him. It's giving Aaron vibes when we first met him. I don't like it. I don't like it. But y'all, let's move on to this last little part because we see Hayden and Tamara. They are coming out the house. And I mean, they lovey-dovey, still in the honeymoon phase, right? Here come ultimate hater Gary with his little envelope, giving, the worst attitude that he has. And he ends up not really trying to talk to Tamara, just a basic hello. He got an attitude. She go back in the house or whatever. And Hayden is like, man, what do you want? Like, why are you here so early? What is going on here? And he ends up giving Hayden this envelope. And he says that, oh, well, you got set up by Fatima. Now, y'all, I promise we all watched the same show, right? Didn't we? Secondly, he talking about my PI found out that old girl works for Fatima's cousin. Okay, her working for Fatima's cousin has nothing to do with Fatima, number one. Number two, is she a stripper at the club? Because if she a stripper at the club, then who cares? Now, y'all, I know nothing about All the Queen's Men. I still gotta go back and watch that show. So, is she a stripper? I don't know what her role was supposed to be in connection to Madam, but there's still no way his PI would have found that out unless he was able to tap their phone records. Because Fatima literally called her cousin on the phone and said, hey, I need the baddest girl you got to finagle out this man. Then on top of that, she also would call, again, have a conversation with Tamara. Unless you have hacked her phone records, I'm not understanding how you got this information. And then even when she was like around the office or whatever, unless you have photos of her talking to Tamara, what did that piece of paper say? I really need to know. Because now Hayden is feeling some type of way. And now he plans on coming after Fatima yet again, you guys. So I guess we are not getting rid of Hayden next season because the mess will continue. Y'all, this review ran a little bit long, but I had to say a lot. Go ahead, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.